You can do everything right, follow the right plan, and your result would be totally different because there are unseen factors that affect your plans, just like this smoothie, which I have made with the same ingredients so many times, and yet this time the texture wasn't that great. It's one of those rare days. Oh my god, I'm all alone. And of course, this is thanks to all the events that people have during the December holiday. And of course, someone has to stay home to take care of the house and the chickens. The sun is shining bright, even though it's scorching. And I think it's the best day for me to actually fulfill my cravings. I've been having cravings for fries for a very long time. Since I'm alone, I should definitely reward myself with that. You know, the thing about having a lot of people in the house is that when you cook something for yourself, everyone wants to have a taste, and you end up not being satiated with what you were craving in the first place. So let's make some fries. What can I do to make everything go my way? Most times we find ourselves in a state of desperation because we don't want to accept that maybe it's going to take longer. One thing I wish I would have been taught in my younger years is the fact that things don't always go according to your plan because you cannot control everything. Over the past years, I have learned to be patient and to allow myself to find joy in the seasons of life, find myself in even if I don't want to. It's why I can deprive myself my cravings when I want them and wait when I can have the moment to truly enjoy them without distraction. I'm so excited because I made myself this amazing plate of food. The chips masala look absolutely fantastic. I mean, the color is gorgeous. It comes from blending all those ingredients. I'm getting a whiff of the garlic and a little bit of the onion, and I added some cilantro to just give a pop of color to break down that yellowish and orangish color, and of course an egg, because why not? Fried eggs are one of my favorites. This is absolutely fantastic. Oh my god. This pairs so well with the fries. It's perfectly cold. This is a mixture of hibiscus juice and tamarind juice. My goodness, this is fantastic and very addictive. I really don't know what fries does to your palate, because once you start eating it, it's very addictive, but also you start craving something sweet and cold. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people like fast food. It's so addictive. These are the books that I've been currently reading. I am trying to catch up with my challenge, this year's challenge. I challenged myself to read 20 books and I haven't been able to do that. Every time I read a book and then I look at my Goodreads challenge, it's like, you are 5 books behind, and I'm like, but I tried, I read one. This year has just been one of those years. Last year and this year I've just been forcing myself to read, and of course this happens. It's called reading blocks. So I have this Damunyosi na Hadithi Nyingine. I read this in high school as a set book. Going back to these stories, reading them just for fun and not for exams, has been incredibly eye-opening. The second book I'm reading now is Dust, and this is by a Kenyan writer Yvonne Adhiambo Obor. I'm not a really big fan of her writing style. First time I read this book, I didn't like it, and now I'm rereading it, I think after 2 or 3 years, and I'm still having difficulty going through it. But I'm still going to continue reading it. And then I have my sweetheart, and that is Ancilla Rise by Maya Angelou and The Desiderata of Happiness by Max Arman. I don't know how to say that other name. These are poetry books, and of course I love poetry, and I don't think I've reread this year, so I'm going to reread them. Of course, I just can't wait for when I can buy more poetry books and also get mine published. Because we're really in the end of the year, we are getting a lot of recaps and all that. I'm also seeing a lot of people self-reflecting on their lives, and something that I've really seen a lot is a lot of people speaking about how they're feeling behind in life, especially in their late 20s, because because they keep comparing themselves with the people they see on social media. They're like, oh, I see people who are even younger than me who have Birkins, who are driving, I don't know, a Mercedes, who are buying houses. And I'm also like, what? 20-year-olds who have all these things? I think a lot of people fail to understand that, one, the things that you're seeing on social media, a lot of that is not real. But two, a lot of those things could be real, but you should also look at the context. You should not be comparing yourself with someone who's not grown up in similar surroundings as you. You're just causing a lot of anxiety for yourself. There's this phrase that I had somewhere that says, don't compare yourself with people who have a support system, and it was an absolute game changer. The moment you actually start applying this in your life, you realize comparing yourself is absolutely futile because it's not helping you in any way. If you're someone like me that does everything on their own, that believes in themselves, that has big dreams and people around them don't believe in them, you can't compare yourself with people that have a family that supports them, a family that is always there for them, cheering them on, celebrating all their achievements. It's not the same. One of the things that is really going to save your life is always contextualizing everything. Start looking at the context that made that thing possible or made that someone possible. Because I'm now in my late 20s, I mean a few days into my 28th chapter, I find that a lot of people want to give me a lot of pressure. You should get married, you should have children, all these things. And I'm really glad I've gotten to a point where I'm like, that doesn't concern me at all. Maybe that is what you want for your life or wanted for your life, but it doesn't mean I have to buy into that. I really don't understand this pressure that is put on 20-year-olds to have like this lavish lifestyle or a perfect lifestyle, because at the end of the day, being in your 20s, it's like you're in the infancy of your adult years. You're just starting to get to know yourself. For a lot of 20-year-olds, this is the time that you are away from your family, where you're trying to craft your identity. It's actually the time that you will experience like your first quarter-life crisis, because you're trying to figure out who you are. I truly believe that it's really important to recognize this and give yourself grace and time. You need that time, because if you rush through things, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. I mean, statistically, if you're in your late 20s, you have survived your first divorce. One other thing that I find to be extremely helpful, especially for me, is reading stories of people who have gone before us, reading memoirs, reading nonfiction, looking at career trajectories of people I admire. I mean, a lot of these people get a lot of success in like their late 30s or in their early 40s or in their 50s, and these are people who have been putting a lot of energy in their industries for like 10-20 years. So clearly it takes quite a long time for you to get to where you want to be, and this majorly comes with age. I believe that the more you age, the more confident you become in yourself, and that also translates in your career. That means that you just keep getting better. One thing they don't tell you about being good at your career, it goes hand in hand with how you feel about yourself. So if you don't feel confident about yourself, it means that you'll make a lot of mistakes along the way. If you are being led by ego and greed, you will make a lot of mistakes, you will stumble. There's so many things that happen. So the thing that you should really be focusing a lot of your time and energy is on knowing yourself, because once you know yourself, it means that you're going to be committed to make a lot of choices that are good for you. That is a step that you cannot jump, and even if you jump it in your 20s, you are going to be in your 40s and being like, wow, I made a lot of mistakes in my 20s and 30s. Find that everything shuts down. Now you're back to the drawing board in your 40s or your 50s. But it's also important to also embrace all seasons and know that you can always start anything at whatever age. I also think one of the things that make people feel like they're feeling behind is because they're really afraid of aging. But it's really about rewiring your brain or retelling the story of aging. Aging is not a bad thing. It's actually a privilege. I know some people who are with in university and they're not alive right now, and they had big dreams, but they're not here to pursue those dreams. And so for me, I really don't look at my age and be like, oh my god, I'm growing older. No, it's a privilege to grow older. At the end of the day, you're not even promised that you're gonna see tomorrow. You're not even promised that you're gonna get to that 40 years or 50 years. So you really owe it to yourself to make use of every time that you have now. That is the gift that you could give to yourself. And the moment you start recognizing how special each moment you have is, trust you me, this idea of, oh, you're behind in life, it's not gonna matter at all, because you absolutely know why you're doing the things that you're doing, and most importantly, you know yourself. The little kittens have grown up so much.
Once you learn to appreciate where you are without distraction, without comparison, you start noticing a difference in your material life. I have learned to focus only on things that I can control, and it's incredibly fascinating how that creates a wholesome mindset for you, and it gives you the momentum to actually focus on what you want to do with your own life.
They're hiding in the woods. One of them is hiding. There's supposed to be 3. This is the third one here. Clouds look fantastic and that very lonely palm tree. Very, very lonely palm tree. Wow. Wow, look at that. That looks just fantastic, my goodness. In the past we used to call this God's garden, Shambhala Mungo. Oh, that pattern. I can't go to the museums, but I always have an endless supply of art from Mother Nature. That backdrop of the setting sun just makes it insanely beautiful. Like the beauty cannot be captured in this little phone of mine.